never changes. When atomic fire consumed the Earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across the ruins of the old world to build new societies, establishing villages, forming tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth in the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and sent it east to occupy Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag. A vast army of slaves forged from the conquest of 86 tribes, Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam, just barely, against the Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river, it gathers strength. Campfires burn, training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business, under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots. You are a courier, hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package to the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse.
You got what you were after, so pay up.
You're crying in the rain, Pally.
Guess who's waking up over here?
Time to cash out.
Will you get it over with?
Maybe cons kill people without looking them in the face. But I ain't a fink. Dig? You've made your last delivery, kid. Sorry you got twisted up in this scene. From where you're kneeling must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
You're awake. How about that? Whoa, easy there, easy. You've been out cold a couple of days now. Why don't you just relax a second? Get your bearings. Let's see what the damage is. How about your name? Can you tell me your name? I can't say it's what I'd have picked for you, but if that's your name, that's your name. I'm Doc Mitchell. welcome to GoodSprings. Now, I hope you don't mind, but I had to go rooting around there in your noggin to pull all the bits of lead out. I take pride in my needlework, but you'd better tell me if I left anything out of place. How'd I do? Well, I got most of it right anyway. Stuff that mattered. Okay, no sense keeping you in bed anymore. Let's see if we can get you on your feet. Good. Why don't you walk down to the end of the room, over by that vigor tester machine there. Take it slow now. It ain't a race. Ooh, looking good so far. Go ahead and give the vigor tester a try. We'll learn right quick if you got back all your faculties. Yeah, that's a pretty standard score there, but after what you've been through, I'd say that's great news. Well, we know your vitals are good, but that don't mean them bullets didn't leave you nuttered in a bighorn and drop. What do you say? Hey, you take a seat in my couch and we go through a couple of questions. See if your dogs are still barking. All right. I'm gonna say a word. I want you to say the first thing that comes to mind. Dog. House.
Shelter.
Night.
Shroud.
Bandit.
Vaporize.
Light.
Beam.
Mother.
Caretaker.
Okay. Now, I got a few statements. I want you to tell me how much they sound like something you'd say. First one. Conflict just ain't in my nature.
No opinion.
I ain't given to relying on others for support.
Disagree.
I'm always fixing to be the center of attention. I'm
No
slow
opinion.
to embrace new ideas.
Strongly disagree.
I charge in to deal with my problems head on.
Strongly disagree.
Almost done here. What do you say you have a look at this? Tell me what you see.
An angry two-headed ant.
Okay. How about this one?
Some piece of space-age technology.
Last one.
Looks like a mushroom cloud.
Well, that's all she wrote. I don't have nothing to compare it to, so maybe you'd better just have a look at the results. See if it all seems right to you. Before I turn you loose, I need one more thing from you. You got a form for you to fill out so I can get a sense of your medical history. Just a formality. Ain't like I expect to find you got a family history of getting shot in the head. guess that about does it. Come with me, I'll see you out.
Before heading further with Doc Mitchell to the exit, we decide to go into his side room to take some things, so that we can survive properly in the wasteland. Now, we already took a few stim packs and a laser, but let us see what he has in this other room. Well, it looks like he has a knife and 3 buffalo gourd seeds, along with some first aid boxes. But there's nothing useful in those. Heading towards the exit, we can loot a nifty hat from the hat stand and talk to Doc Mitchell once again.
Here, these are yours. Was all you had on you when you was brought in. I hope you don't mind, but I gave the note a look. I thought it might help me find a next of kin. But it was just something about a platinum chip. Well, if you're heading back out there, you ought to have this. They call it a Pip-Boy. I grew up in one of them vaults they made before the war. We all got one. Ain't much use to be now, but you might want such a thing after what you've been through. I know what it's like having something taken from you. And put this on too, so the locals don't pick on you for lacking modesty. Was my wife's. I think she was about your size, and she hardly wore it after we left the vault. Felt it was too brazen.
Thanks for patching me up, Doc.
Don't mention it. It's what I'm here for. You should talk to Sunny Smiles before you leave town. She can help you learn to fend for yourself in the desert. She'll likely be at the saloon. I reckon some of the other folks at the saloon might be able to help you out too. And the metal fella, Victor, who pulled you out of your grave. Anyway, you ever get hurt out there, you come right back. I'll fix you up. But try not to get killed anymore.
Putting us on easy mode, we stop Doc Mitchell to learn more about him before we leave.
I expect you'll be wanting to go outside after being cooped up for so long, but if you have any questions, I'll answer what I can.
Tell me about yourself, Doc.
Well, I already told you I came from a vault. After that, I was a traveling doctor for a spell. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Most folks out here ain't educated, so people with medical know-how are hard to come by. I found that I could help a lot of people with what I knew, and that was all right with me. Eventually, I went back and married my childhood sweetheart, and that was the end of my traveling days. Didn't miss it none then. Still don't.
You said before that you had something taken from you.
Well, ain't we all, right? That was a long time ago. I don't pay it much mind anymore.
What town is this, by the way?
This here's GoodSprings, named after the water we got here, just down the road to the southeast. GoodSprings Source, they call it. It's a quiet town, and that's how we like it. We don't go looking for trouble, though occasionally it sees fit to come looking for us.
What else can you tell me about GoodSprings?
Well, there's a general store just up the road, run by a fella named Chet. He don't got nothing fancy, but he's got your basics covered. If you're looking to wet your whistle, just past Chet's is the Prospector Saloon. The bartender there, Trudy, knows everyone in town. Other than that, there's not much to see. Just people trying to scratch out a living.
Who was it that rescued me?
That'd be Victor. Curious fella. He's sort of odd, and I don't just mean 'cause he's a robot. I couldn't tell you much about him. He's real friendly, don't get me wrong. You just get the sense that that ain't the whole picture. Just a feeling. He keeps to himself, mostly. You want to know more about him, you'll have to ask him yourself. He has a shack on the southern edge of town.
Do you know anything on the man who shot me?
I didn't see him or the men with him. You might ask around town, though. Could be someone saw which way they was headed.
Your best bet would probably be Trudy, the bartender at the saloon up the road. If anyone saw anything, she'd know about it.
And with that, we have all the information we need. We are in the town called GoodSprings.
You take care
and we
now.
have just recovered from being shot by a man and two people he called cons. We'll learn more about them in the next video. We open the door to GoodSprings. We step out into the wasteland when we see, what is that? A robot?
Howdy, partner. Might I say you're looking fit as a fiddle?
Thanks for digging me out of that grave.
Don't mention it. I'm always ready to lend a helping hand to a stranger in need.
How did you happen to find me?
I was out for a stroll that night when I heard the commotion up the old bone orchard. Saw what looked like a bunch of bad eggs, so I laid low. Once they'd run off, I dug you up to see if you were still kicking. Turns out you were, so I hauled you off to the dock right quick.
Do you know who those men were
Can't say
attacking me?
that I'm familiar with the rascals. Some of the fine folks in town might be able to help you out with that.
How'd you end up in GoodSprings?
I moseyed into town, 10, 15 years ago. Before that, I can't quite seem to recall. Odd. Anyway, it's a right peaceful town, and I reckon it's as fine a place to settle as any.
I've never seen a robot like you before.
I'm a Securitron. Robco Security Model 2060B. If you ever see any of my brothers, tell them Victor says howdy. Happy trails!
So that is it. We learned that we were saved by a robot named Victor. We head to the general store first to see if we can talk to some of the locals.
You must be the one Doc Mitchell was patching up. The way I heard it, I didn't think you'd be walking out of that office. I've got plenty of supplies for sale. Even got some weapon mods and special ammo. Well worth the caps if you ask me. If you're hurting for caps, I've also got boxes of surplus ammo in the miscellaneous section. They're not great, but you get what you pay for.
Tell me about the weapon mods and special ammo.
Weapon mods are things like silencers, scopes, bigger magazines. Special ammo includes things like armor-piercing bullets, which don't hurt the target as much, but let you punch through armor easier. There's also hollow point bullets, which have the opposite effect. You can kill unarmored targets easier, but they don't do shit against armor.
Do you know anything about the people who attacked me?
The leader was a New Vegas type. Typical city boy. He had a bunch of Great Khans with him, probably hired guns. The Great Khans normally stay in their own territory way up northwest, on account of them being enemies with the NCR.
Have you ever been to New Vegas?
Twice. Both times I drank a lot of liquor and lost most of my caps at the card tables. In that order, now that I think about it. If you ever get to New Vegas, be sure to visit Gomorrah. It's the best casino in the city. You won't regret it. Word of advice, behave. Between the NCR military police and Mr. House's robots, you don't want to be causing trouble on the Strip.
I'd like to know about Mr. House.
I'm afraid I don't know much myself. Mr. House has got his own casino, Lucky 38, but nobody goes in or out except his robots. The other casinos follow Mr. House's rules, so I guess that makes him the leader of New Vegas. As far as I know, nobody's ever laid eyes on the guy. I think that robot who pulled you out of the dirt belongs to Mr. House. If Mr. House is looking after you, it's gotta be a good thing, right?
What makes the surplus ammo inferior?
It's all about quantity over quality. Trouble is, you'll be cleaning and fixing your gun a lot more than usual when you use those kind of bullets.
Anything else you'd like to tell me about the Great Khans?
They're tough sons of bitches. Mean, but not crazy. They'll leave you alone unless you got something they want. The Great Khans deal in illegal chems. There's a good chance that most chems you come across were made by Great Khans.
So, that gives us all the information we need. It appears that this person who shot us appeared to be someone who looked like he's from New Vegas. And we also learned some information about Robert House. He's a recluse. Going up to the Prospector Saloon, we talked to a man named Easy Pete.
Howdy. What can Easy Pete do for you?
So you know anything about the people who attacked me?
The one in the fancy suit seemed to be calling the shots. That's as much as I know. Other folks in town might know more. Word of advice, though, if you ever catch up with him, watch out. The man's got cold eyes like a snake. Can't be trusted, I'd say.
Why are you called Easy Pete?
Was a prospector until I decided to settle here to get away from the NCR. Now we'll just take it easy and help out with the Brahmin and Bighorners.
You were a prospector, like digging for gold and silver?
Nah. Means I poke through old buildings looking for working tech and such. Some folks just call it salvaging, but never liked the term. Way I see it, salvage means it's broken, near worthless. Me, I look for the good stuff. Guns, chems, spare parts. Good money in it.
Ever found anything good while prospecting?
Nope. Had a pretty good claim once, way out east by the river, but got run off by raiders. Eventually got too old to keep going out.
What's wrong with the NCR?
Don't get me wrong, the NCR's got a lot of decent folk in it. It's just that they make you part of them whether you like it or not. Towns like GoodSprings and Prim don't stay independent for long. Not if you've got something the NCR wants. Still, the NCR keeps the Legion away.
Tell me about the Legion.
They're slavers, led by a guy named Caesar, or Caesar. Not sure how you're supposed to say it. A couple of years ago, they tried to take over Hoover Dam, but the NCR beat them back. The NCR didn't or couldn't finish the job, though. The Legion's got its strength back and is getting ready for another round at the dam. My money's still on the NCR winning, but you never know. We've been hearing stories about legionaries on the Nevada side of the river, so keep a gun handy. You don't want to get caught by them.
What is so important about the Hoover Dam?
The dam powers a lot of New Vegas, and then there's all that clean water lying in Lake Mead, too. Anybody who owns the dam owns the territory.
What do you use the Bighorners for?
Meat and hide, mostly. Can't put a pack on them. They just lay down until you take it off. Can find a bunch of wild ones high up in the hills, but gotta be careful around them. They can put up a decent fight if cornered.
Do you know anything about
The machine? Harmless, no matter what Trudy says. She thinks it's hiding something, but I think it's just a broken down relic with no place to be. Keep your gun handy if you go poking around some of the abandoned places around here, like the schoolhouse. Critters move in there sometimes.
Schoolhouse, eh? I better check that out later. Anyways, entering the Prospector Saloon, we are greeted by a growl of a dog.
Cheyenne, stay. Don't worry, she won't bite unless I tell her to.
Doc Mitchell said you could teach me how to survive in the desert?
Yeah, I guess there's a thing or two I could show you. Sounds like you need all the help you can get after what they done to you. Meet me outside, behind the saloon.
Following Sunny and Cheyenne to the back, we see a bunch of Sunset Sarsaparilla bottles. And Sunny gives us a varmint rifle.
Everything all right?
I wanted to ask you some questions.
Well, let's just finish this first, all right? Then we could talk. Preferably somewhere where I can get a stiff drink and Cheyenne can keep cool. Now, see the sarsaparilla bottles on the fence there? Take this and try to hit a couple of them. That's the right idea. Look down the sight. Try crouching down and staying still. It'll help your aim. Nice shot. Well, that's a start. But I don't reckon you came to me to learn to fight sarsaparilla bottles. Tell you what, I gotta go chase geckos away from our water supply anyway. Darn critters are attracted to it. Why don't you come along?
Okay, I'm in.
Follow me. It's just down to the southeast a short ways.
We follow the duo straight to GoodSprings water source, where we hope to find creatures called geckos. I'm assuming they're a form of mutated lizard. We will also explain the lore of GoodSprings in a minute. But before that, we'll have to finish this tutorial first. Perhaps along the way, we'll stop at this schoolhouse that everyone keeps talking about.
Hear that up on the ridge behind me there? We got some geckos to clear out. Bunch of little monsters is what they are. Seems like Doc Mitchell treats more gecko bites than anything else. Let's see if we can get a little closer. If we move quietly, we can get the jump on them. More likely to hit something vital that way.
We sneak up to the GoodSprings water source, number 1, where we see in our vats some geckos that need to be taken care of. Taking aim for our shot.
Go give him help. See? You're getting the hang of it. There's 2 more wells that still need clearing. You want, you can come along. It'd be worth a few caps to me.
Sure, I'll come with you.
Shouldn't take more than a couple minutes, especially with two of us. Come with me.
We head down to the third water springs where we hear a woman in pain.
There's too many!
We see her being attacked by geckos. We try our best to save her, but unfortunately, the geckos got to her before we could save her from those ghastly beings. If we do save her, however, we do get an added boost from GoodSprings and reputation.
Ah, hell's bells. There's not a day passes by I don't tell people not to come here by themselves. Some people, your word just isn't good enough for them. Then this happens. Well, it's a part of life out here. Best to accept it. But you did what you promised, staying out here with me. Here's my end of the deal. One more thing I wanted to show you. Thought I might teach you about living off the land and making useful things for yourself. Interested?
Couldn't hurt to try.
Alright then. We'll need a couple ingredients to get started. Gonna want some xander root and a brock flower. Let me think now. I know I've seen brock flowers growing up at the graveyard, and I seem to remember there being xander root over by the schoolhouse. Bring those on back to me, and we'll get cooking.
And now we head off to the schoolhouse and the graveyard. We start by the school bus since it seems to be the closest, where we see a bunch of giant mantises. Never encountered these creatures before. Quite odd little pests, though they only do 0.10 amount of damage with each hit. Killing some more mantises, we see some rock flower next to a stump. But before we can move on to the graveyard, let's explore the school first to see what we can unearth. Entering the schoolyard, we have found some more, well, unsightly creatures. We see the entire classroom is a complete wreck from the nuclear blast. Hopefully that some children manage to get safe distance from the nuclear blast. After killing all the mantises, we begin to look around for extra loot. Inside we find an easy locked safe, but unfortunately our lockpick skills are not of 25. So we cannot, I repeat, cannot open it. But I will explore this school in a later date when I upgrade my character. Perhaps when I get more into the lore of GoodSprings in a later video. We find some metal boxes filled with pretty useless stuff. But if you want to come here and sell junk, well, you best come here so that you can collect the things that are needed. We find some Wonder Glue, mostly Wonder Glue. It's obvious that this school is mostly arts and crafts, but we do find some useful Bombi pins, which could be used for later purposes like opening that safe. Some box of detergent here, and inside empty Nuka-Cola bottles and a toy car. We've explored all we can from this place, unfortunately, but so I try to decide to unlock the terminal. Now, I'm not the best hacker when it comes to Fallout hacking, and I know that in this version of Fallout New Vegas, they lock you out of the terminal permanently unless you find an alternative key. Now, I don't know if there's an alternative key somewhere. You'll have to put in the comment section if there is one. But I got locked out instantly because of my horrendous hacking skills. And try as I might, I can't seem to get the safe open. Opening the lockers, I find 4 bottle caps, a coffee mug, and a tin can. More useless junk, but the bottle caps were pretty useful. Preparing to loot more lockers, I decided to see if I can find any more bottle caps. Seeing as how, if you don't know, the currency in Fallout is always bottle caps. It has been that way since Fallout 1. Seeing as how there's nothing valuable in this school, I decided to take it out on myself to leave the school and come back on a later date to explore more into the lore of this little place. Now we head to the graveyard to find some Brock flower. We head to the GoodSprings Cemetery, and as you recall, we were buried here by the mysterious man and the con goons that assigned him. As you can see, there is a bark scorpion. I don't know why that's there, but every gameplay I encountered, this creature always pops up. So I guess that just gives us a taste of what's to come in the wasteland. We come up to the cemetery to see some particularly nasty creatures called bloatflies. Imagine giant mutated flies that shoot larvae, and it's disgusting. Anyways, we shoot the bloatflies around for a bit. We searched around the grave we were buried to find some evidence of the mysterious man. And, after looking through countless bottles of beer, we find not only nothing in the hole, but a distinctive cigarette butt. Perhaps the same one used by the mysterious man, along with some Brock flower. We now have all the essentials we need to build up our healing salve. My more flies. We decided to take a step back and read the graves. We have one that says, well, nothing at this one. One that says, "Rest in peace, Jake." We can't open these graves right now, strictly because we don't have a shovel yet. But I will go over it in the GoodSprings extra video I will post in a later date. But having explored the graveyard, we head back to see Sunny Smiles. On our way back, we pass a man wearing a jacket that says NCR.
You eyeballing me?
CF. And on the game it shows him as a powder ganger. What is a powder ganger? We'll find out in a future video revolving around the powder ganger gang. But we cannot focus on that right now. We head over to Sunny Smiles to complete the quest.
Let me see what you got. Yeah, these'll do just fine. Just fine. All right now. We're gonna be making something folks on the trail call healing powder. Go on over to that campfire now. Give it a try. Hey, that's not bad, see? All it takes to make a recipe is the right ingredients and the right know-how. Sometimes it won't be a campfire you need. Might need to do some work on your guns and ammo, maybe. Important thing to get is it's all the same idea. You just need to find the right place to set up shop. Workbench or reloading bench, whatever. Well, I hope that's enough to get you started. I'm heading back now. Hope I didn't miss anything good on the jukebox. Cheyenne would never forgive me. Hey, do me a favor. Trudy, she's the bartender up at the Prospector. Kind of the town mom. She likes to meet newcomers. She'd be cross with me if I didn't ask you to poke your head in and say hi.
And with that, she walks back to the Prospector Saloon. And sadly, this is all the time I have for today. If you want to see more Fallout lore videos, please subscribe to Liz Martin, like, and ring the little bell for more content.